Someone has already got to the safe. The only question now is, who opened it? No sign of forced entry. Whoever opened it knew the combination. Let's see.
What? Doesn't your computer record all your security footage so you can get it with the touch of a key? What century are you living in?
Good. Dr. Young got to her notes before Joker. She's taken them to hide somewhere. I need to follow her and find out where she put them.
Oh, joy, another detective trail to follow. What is it this time, perfume?
Oracle, I'm on Dr. Young's trail. I've had to calibrate the scanner to only show recent prints. If I follow these, I will find her or the note.
Oh, right, fingerprints. And judging by that trail, it shouldn't be too difficult because Dr. Young appears to walk on her hands.
I hope it works. Just so you know, the GCPD found one of Joker's bombs downtown. It was full of marzipan and kittens.
Marzipan and kittens. Sounds about right.
As I thought, it's just a twisted diversion. The real action's on Arkham.
So here we go with tracking again. Of course, there are lots of bad guys to play with and good guys to rescue along the way. I just included that one because it made me laugh. You learn that Dr. Young has been captured, but Batman surmises that she must have hid her notes around here somewhere.
Oracle, I found Dr. Young's formula.
Great. So does that mean you've stopped Joker?
It's never this simple with him.
She hid them carefully inside a book that's obviously sticking out and screaming, "Look in here!" Subtle, Doc. Joker, obviously monitoring everything, says he has the doctor in the warden's office and he's turning Zsasz loose on her. I wonder what our next mission is. But as you exit the place, Batman starts coughing. And then... the world starts going wonky and suddenly Bruce is back in Gotham, reliving his parents' murder. He hears their conversations, hears the confrontation and the shootings, all of it. Looks like we've been ghosted again.
I'm sorry, Daddy.
Okay, let's see what's next. Didn't we already do this? Well, yeah, but it's tougher this time. His movements are quicker and more random. You have to get creative with some of your gadgets to make cover for yourself. And then there's these guys. You have to time things just right and be very careful about things like angles, because if he sees you... If he sees you, it's back to the last checkpoint, of course, but that's a really creepy way to get there. Once again, the goal is to get up to the bat signal and shine it on Scarecrow before he catches you in his murderous gaze. This last part of the level was really hard, partly because I had trouble getting the timing right, and partly because the video started going wonky and slowing down, to the point where one time when he caught me, it took 30 seconds for his hand to come down on me. Time to reboot. Back in, I managed to figure it all out, avoided Crane's laser eyes, turned the bat signal on him, and it became the particle beam weapon from Fear. I'm assuming it turned him into a charged skeleton. Or a scarred skeleton. Take your pick. Back in his right mind, Batman figures out where he is. He remembers that Zsasz has Dr. Young, so to be sure he doesn't spook Zsasz into doing something stupid, he's careful not to announce his presence. subtle, Batman. Be sure to drop a shower of business cards after it, just so they know it's you. When you catch up with Zsasz, taking him down is just a matter of timing.
Kill her. That's...
Batman talks to Dr. Young. She says Joker has gallons of the venom in a locked lab, but the security codes are in the warden's safe. She pulls back the wall painting where the safe is, and the safe promptly explodes. Dr. Young is killed, and Batman is appropriately stunned.
Poor Dr. Young. Still, you know how Mr. J hates a squealer. Talking about squealers.
Somebody help me!
That old loony actually thinks he runs this place. Talk about crazy. Well, bad places to go. Get him, boys. If he gets up, knock him down, but not too rough. Mr. J needs him at the party.
The warden is your only hope of getting into that lab to destroy Joker's stash, so the next task is to track him to wherever they took him and rescue him. When Harley whacked him with that stick, he left some DNA on it. Using the scanner, Batman can now follow his trail. So every few feet he leaves a steaming pile of DNA. I suppose everybody's got a nickname for it. You follow his trail through Tim Burton's worst drug interaction ever until you come to this.
Stop, Batman, please! You've got to help my babies!
I'm really not interested in a bunch of flowers, Ivy.
They're in pain, crying for help!
I am so concerned about them. See the deep emotion I am showing.
Just stay where you are. Last thing I need is you running free.
Poor children. I'll save you.
Rosio, Rosio, wherefore art thou, Rosio? That which we call oregano-io would smell as delicious. I forgot where I was going with that. She's been suitably vague and suitably sexy enough to make 13-year-old boys squirm, so it's time to move on. As you find the warden, tied up in a little room in the area where they keep all the total crazies, Harley comes along and lets Ivy out. As if that's not enough, Joker lets all the crazies out. Let's get that info from the warden and get out of here.
What are you waiting for? Cut me free!
I say, don't you realize I'm important? You can tell by the quality of the ropes I'm tied up with.
He's taken control of the security overrides. I have the sequence generator, but without the terminal in my office, it's useless.
Your terminal has been destroyed. Give me the sequencer.
What? Oh, yes, of course.
Well, oh yes, of course. Jolly good chap and all that rot.
It's useless. Half the code won't get you anywhere. We're trapped in here.
New gadget, la 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 la. This ding fod should get us through most of those locked doors we've been seeing all over the island. The warden says it's useless, but he forgets who he's talking to.
It's me, remember?
Batman can always make it work. Batman can always make it work, but I can't. This was frustrating because there was no tutorial of any kind, so I had no idea what I was supposed to do here. I finally figured out that when it hit that bright green, I needed to stay there. But absolutely nothing in the game told me that. Why? How is the average player supposed to figure that out? In the subsequent games, the sequencer is much better, more like a letter exchange puzzle, so I'm guessing lots of people complained about this. I hope so. And when you're successful, you go blind. Kind of like... That opens the electronic gate so you can get out with Warden Hufflepuff there.
You stay here. Lock this gate when I leave.
Oh, good idea. Can't have someone of my stature falling back into their hands now, can we?
Yes, can't have someone as important as I actually doing things now, can we? I'll just sit here and be important.
You track Harley to a place where she has a couple of guards dangling over an electrified spot. You have to use the sequencer to shut off the juice, but I had a hard time figuring out what to do next. I decoded the thing like a dozen times and it just kept coming back. Well, no it didn't. I wasn't paying attention. You have to hack 2 panels, cut the guys down, then hack the main door to get out. If you play when you're awake, you'll figure that out. Eventually, you catch up with Harley and she starts sending goons after you. But just to make it a little more interesting, every so often she electrifies part of the floor.
You want some of that? You okay? Don't let him hit you, idiot!
That's gonna hurt.
Don't let him hit you, you idiot! Yeah! Beat the crap out of you!
Let's turn up the heat. Anyone for fried bat wings?
This brings up another question in my mind. Batman doesn't kill, right? But he knocks several of those goons off the edge of this wherever we are. How far did they fall? What's down there? Did Batman think about that before he sent them flying into the void? From what I saw, Batman potentially killed at least 2 guys there, and nobody seems to notice. The thing that fascinates me about so many of Batman's supervillains is they're not super. They're mostly just people with clever plans and a weird knack for getting other people to do their dirty work for them. And in a situation like this, when the chips are down, all they can do is send a bunch of goons after you. As if that's enough for Batman even to work up a sweat.
He's done it again. I don't believe it. I'm on my way now.
Oops, change of plans, kiddo.
But I tried my best.
Sorry, but there is no prize for second place. I'm afraid you're off the party list. Better luck next time.
No!
Joker just handed his girlfriend over to Batman. Ain't love grand? So Harley decides to take matters into her own hands. That went about as well as expected. He scans her fingerprints, then tosses her in a cell.
You won't find Mr. J. He's in the secret lab of the gardens and... oh, crap!
Yep, I know.
Damn! Well, he'll get me out. You'll see!
You leave her sitting there crying and go after Joker. She's touched pretty much everything on the island, so you follow a trail of her fingerprints until you find the Joker's secret lab. In the worst parts of the place, sometimes this happens. Lunatic throwing, the 21st century alternative to dwarf tossing, or something like that. If you time it right, you don't have to wait for the prompt and can just throw them as they get to you, so it becomes sort of a challenge. You make your way over to the gardens, throwing lunatics as you go, and inside you pick up Harley's fingerprint trail. Well, of course we have armed goons and gargoyles along the way. Gotta have some fun while we do this.
I'm not scared of you, Batman.
We're even then, because I'm not scared of you either. This game is fun and interesting, but I do wonder about Batman sometimes.
You need to stop this now, before it goes too far.
He's trying to reason with the Joker. Think about that. He's trying to reason with the Joker. Everybody knows the guy is pure homicidal maniac, and he gets off on killing people and creating havoc. And Batman thinks he's going to put down his toys and go home just because Batman tells him to? Once again, I present to you the world's greatest detective. You backtrack and find the controls to the electricity in that room. Joker's goons have booby-trapped this one with Joker's goofy gas or whatever it is, and you have to hack it 3 times before time runs out. Once that's done, you pick up the trail again. The weirdest thing about these Joker teeth is you get points for destroying them in increments of 5. Destroyed 5 teeth, destroyed 10 teeth, and so on. But they normally show up in groups of 3. I suppose that makes sense, if you're missing 2 fingers like Roland in the Dark Tower series. Further on, you learn that Joker and his men have taken a bunch of orderlies captive, so you have to rescue them. They're in cages, dangling over a convenient abyss, and the operator has orders to drop them at the first sign of Batman. The goons are wearing collars that'll tell Joker if you take one of them out, so Batman decides he needs to eliminate the guy operating the cages first. I got there by quite simply sneaking past the other guys. But now that he can't drop the hostages into Bottomless Canyon, Batman is free to deal with them. I mean the bad guys, not... Let's just keep going. You take them out, rescue the guys in the cages, then locate another booby-trapped security panel. Hack that, and the entrance to the secret lab appears. Joker's there with a couple of his men. He finally shows us what he's been up to. By the looks on those guys' faces when he shot them, I'm going to guess that they didn't know this was coming. But now that he did it, they might as well rip somebody limb from limb. If you can score enough hits and get into the right position to climb onto one of them like this, you can steer him so he does some serious damage to the other one. But for the most part, it's a matter of dodging them when they charge and just trying to beat them down. It's great. With 2 of these things there, it should really feel unfair, but it doesn't because you have the skills and upgrades to deal with them. One trick is to get him to charge at you, but instead hit one of those big tanks of venom. That does some good damage, and you can follow up for quite a while. It's a very well-designed battle. I wish I could think of something funny to say about it, but all I can think of is those guys look like a stegosaurus got drunk and had an affair with my mother-in-law. One down, you know the rest. Batman contacts Oracle and says he's destroyed the production facility, but really those 2 big guys did most of it for him. Still, Joker got away with a buttload of the stuff, and Batman has to figure out how to track him. He discovers that they're using some kind of plant hybrid to make the serum, so that means it's time to follow a pheromone trail to the voluptuous but really weird poison ivy. He hacks the exit door, but there's a big ravine just past it. We're going to need a new gadget. Okay, now he's just showing off. Having a personal jet come crashing in so it can deliver one little doohickey is just his way of screaming in your face, "I'm filthy rich and you're not. Up yours, Bruce." This is your line launcher. It really is a nice piece of equipment, but I suspect most of the things that we'll use it for could have been done with a little upgrade to the grapple. Oh well, let's give it a try. Whee! Okay, I'm convinced. Let's go find the plant chick. Oh yeah, we're not actually following a trail this time. We're just wandering around, and that percentage thing tells us if we're getting warmer or colder. Why the change? You're asking me?
It's all right, my darlings. I'm here now, my poor darlings. Yes, I know he's found us, but I won't let him hurt you. I'll kill him first.
Ivy, I know Dr. Young mutated these plants to produce venom.
Yes, and I heard it through the grapevine the evil woman paid the price.
I need you to help me create an antidote.
Why should I? Let Joker have his fun. I'll enjoy watching you squirm.
I've never been a big fan of Uma Thurman, but I have to admit her poison ivy was a lot better than this.
You've been in the dark too long. Every plant on this island will get the same unless you cooperate.
There's a plant growing deep in Arkham Island. Only it can counter the effects of this Titan strain.
Well, that was easy. I didn't think she'd cave that quickly.
Where do I find it?
Oh, in Killer Croc's lair. You didn't think it would be easy, did you?
Of course, because we have to get good screen time for all the villains in this piece, don't you know? You head back toward where you left guard Cash because he may know how to get into Croc's lair. But the riffraff have moved in.
Yeah, go back and play with that bitch for a few more hours. The boss isn't ready for you yet. What the hell is that thing?
The door won't open until I knock these guys out. So, one of them has the key? I don't understand. That little scene had him barrel right through them all the way to the door. Why do that if I can't continue until I backtrack and beat those guys up? That's one gripe I have. There are times when I'd prefer to sneak past a cluster of bad guys instead of taking them on. But there are lots of instances like this one where I can't. It'd be nice to have that option. Maybe in a later game, who knows? You keep going until you learn that the Joker gave some of the formula known as Titan to Poison Ivy. It's had an interesting effect.
Looks like the plants are mutating further.
She's also left these things all over the place. Batman explains to himself that the thing that pod spit out is a spore similar to one that Ivy used to try and kill off Gotham last year. You want to hit it with your batarang the way I did there before it touches you because it's not a very nice touch. Depending on how far away you are, you can aim like I did or you can use the quick batarang. Your choice. There's plenty of stuff to keep you distracted from your actual mission, including who knows how many Riddler trophies, spores and pods, pores and spods, I forget what else. But eventually, you remember that you're trying to get into the mansion to talk to Cash and find out where the entrance to Killer Croc's lair is. Of course, it's clear to heck and gone in another part of the island and you need some codes from the warden. Some of this is starting to feel like busy work. Back in intensive treatment, you have to find a way past a sniper. Gotta love the gadgets. Make your way in and you discover this.
Are they ready? Have you planted the explosives yet?
Good. Razor's just finishing his off now.
Good. Let's test them out.
No! No, I'm still up!
Well, that's gonna cramp our style. Now what?
Take them down one by one the diehard way.
Good idea.
Plant lady done a good job of spraying up the place.
It might take a little longer, but fewer repairs to bullet holes in the batsuit are needed this way. Further on, Batman starts coughing again. I'm afraid we know what that means. What's Jack Skellington doing here? Batman relives the Batmobile driving him and the Joker to Arkham Asylum, except their roles are reversed. He's the one being checked into Crazy Town.
You were right, Mr. J. Classic Marta case with delusions of grandeur. Cuckoo.
The player becomes Joker for a while, and you walk down that same hall, only this time you're watching Harley waggle her butt in front of you. I wasn't sure what I was supposed to do next, and then Joker pulled out a pistol and shot me.
I've waited a long time for this, Bats. Let's start the party with a bang.
Tilt mouse? How? Does that really do anything? I guess we'll find out. It's not going to take me back to that and have me try again? Nope, it kept going. The game just continues on into our next battle with Scarecrow. So I still don't know what Tilt the Mouse means. It sounds like the latest idea for a children's board game. This isn't just more of the same. Well, it is, but it has lots of variations both in terms of complexity and difficulty. Cover is a lot more sparse and often hard to get to, and sometimes it won't hold still. Let's try that again. No, I just don't like the way you look at me. It's creepy. Here's a bat signal in your face.
I think you need a little more. Tell me what demons do you have left to beat? Shall we see? Are you enjoying the extra dose, little bat?
This time you're not avoiding his gaze, you're fighting a bunch of monsters that he sends after you while he watches and makes scary comments. Each time you beat a wave of monsters, a bat signal turns on. When the third one comes on, you've won.
How are you doing this? You've ingested enough toxins to drive 10 men insane. What are you? Why fight it, Batman? You're as crazy as the rest of us.
I may be crazy, but you're the one who's running. He says he's going to flood the catacombs with enough fear gas to drive the whole city insane. He takes an elevator down and seals himself in Killer Croc's den. Well, we were headed there anyway. Oh, look, we found both of them. Wait, we weren't actually looking for Croc, we're looking for a plant. This could be a problem. But now that we're here, it's time to look for the spores. Batman tunes his scanner to detect them, of course, and we follow its directions.
These floating platforms will support me, but will also send sound waves through the water, giving away my position to Croc. I'll need to move as slowly as possible.
And why was this the chosen method for walkways down here? To make sure he gets enough to eat? Naturally, despite whatever effort you might put into going slowly and carefully, every so often this happens. Gotta make sure the Batarang actually hits him next time. Yeah, like that. But I think I like him better as a blue skeleton.
These spores don't contain enough of the antivenom mold. I'm going to need to find more.
Of course. How many? A bunch. By the time you get to the third one, Croc is popping up roughly every 8 seconds. When you get the last one, we get a cut scene of him breaking up the floating platforms. So now we have to use our line launcher and other gadgets. Aw, shucks. We're now following our scanner to the last one, and we have a meter of some kind to tell us when Croc is coming. When he comes up on top of the platforms, we batarang him as usual, but when he starts smashing them from below, we run like hell.
Oracle, I'm getting out of here.
What about Croc?
He won't be a problem.
Sometimes this job is just too easy. Run, batarang, run, batarang. Honestly, this is my least favorite level. I just found it dull. It also threw me a curve. Wait a minute. It interrupted my gameplay, went to a cinematic from a totally different angle, started something going, and then just suddenly out of the blue threw it back at me? What is that all about? I've never seen a game do that before, and I don't care to see it again. That's about as close to unfair as we've gotten so far. Eventually, you get back onto solid ground, but the game isn't done screwing with you yet.
My caves will be your tomb.
Suddenly, the batarang doesn't do it, even though it still gives me a target when I aim at him. What is this? Well, you might have noticed that big bat-shaped blob of explosive gel on the floor. You're supposed to figure out that you put it there when you were drunk one night, and when Croc is standing on it would be a good time to detonate it. The level is done. Thank God for small favors. Back in the Batcave, you make the antidote. It's not very much, but Batman says it'll be enough to stop Ivy. He just has to get out there and use it. About that time, giant plants take over the Batcave. Batman's going to need a new gadget to do the next part. Okay then, let's see it in action. It pulls down walls in slow motion. Cool. Three gadgets later and we're out of there. Time to go stop Ivy. But back in the sewers, you discover that Joker's filling the place with Titan, and soon it'll overflow into the Gotham River. You have to shut down 3, of course, control rooms to prevent that. In the second one, I got a little help from an unexpected source. You know you're on the losing team when even the machinery turns against you. Finish hacking the rest of the pump controls, and Joker decides to lock you in the room and send what he calls a token of his displeasure. Titan and the Goons. Sounds like a 60s band, but you can still do this. The bad guys just keep coming, so you want to ride the Titan as much as you can. I wasn't fast enough at one point, and Joker gave me an appropriate send-off.
I salute my fallen enemy!
It's not easy to do, even on easy, but taking down the Titan guy is pretty awesome. That's going to leave a mark. Once you're done with them, you head out by the most complicated route possible back on the trail of Ivy. One gets the impression she didn't like what Joker did to her.
You will pay, Batman, for hurting my babies. When I finish with Batman, I'll be coming after you, Joker.
Will you really? Oh, that's rather good. Women, give them presents, experimental chemicals, and nice costumes, and they still turn on you. Well, good luck to you, Toots. I got an army, a city-sized dose of Titan, and a bag of weed killer. Come and find me when you're done with that ray. Ooh, it'll be fun. You can bring the wine. I'll make the salad.
If she was trying to match wits with Joker, she definitely brought a knife to that gunfight. Make your way into the botanical gardens again, and we finally confront Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy! You had to know that was going to happen.
I won't let you destroy it, Batman.
I told you to go to your cell.
I told you to go to your room, young lady. You're grounded.
I was a fool. I thought the plants were in pain. Now I realize they were evolving, growing stronger.
Feed me Seymour. Feed me all night long.
It's boss fight time. Basically, any time that screen in front of her opens and you can see her, hit her with the Batarang. In the meantime, she can make plants pop up faster than Miracle Grow, and they grab you and take your health. She can also shoot buttloads of poisonous spores at you. And of course, every time you hit her with the Batarang, it's major drama.
Caught like a bat in a trap. Doing nothing but food now, Batman.
The first time, she did get the best of me.
You're dead and buried, darling.
Have a good look at these as you die! Once you've taken her down with the Batarang, it's time to get her out of there. Wait, what's happening? As it turns out, you have to bring her down twice to finish breaking through that shield. And of course, this time we have goons on top of everything else.
He's trying to hurt me.
Again, we're knocking bad guys off cliffs into who knows what, but I'm pretty sure it's at least a long way down. How is that not killing them? Or maybe Batman's only careful about killing the major villains, who cares about the riffraff? I don't know. But it does raise some interesting questions about one of the main premises of the character. I know that about the only way to prevent an NPC from falling off the grid like that is to put an invisible wall there, and that would just look goofy. Then again, if you knock an unconscious guy off the edge, maybe one of Ivy's tendrils could visibly catch him and set him down or something. Of course, that wouldn't work in the sequence back with Harley, since she doesn't have any tendrils that we know of. Once again, I'm glad I just play these things. This other stuff requires way too much thought. So she vanishes into the floor inside a giant plant and that's the end of it. Where did she go? Is she done? Did Batman finally inject the antidote? I don't understand. Outside, Joker tells you his party is about to start, so get over to the cell block or you'll miss it.
Guest list only. If your name's not on the list, you ain't going in. Let's see, A, no, that's not right. B, Bane. Ah, here it is, Batman. Hey, looks like you're the guest of honor. Give him a big welcome, guys.
I'm starting to think Scarecrow dosed me again. But no, this is no illusion. Nothing to do but keep going. Inside, we see the Joker himself. Sort of. Maybe.
You've not been looking forward to it. I know I have. Surprise! Everyone always said I should be in television. You don't want to miss this, really. It'll be a blast. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Batman, great detective that he is, can't figure out that Joker meant blast, literally, even though he's counting down on everything, so he stands there and takes it in the face. On past that, Joker has 2 Titan guys and who knows how many stereotyped 2-legged punching bags ready to try and take you out. If you can hop onto one of those Titans, you can use him to take out goons and wear down the other one. Naturally, the Joker being the Joker, he has a backup plan.
Nicely done, Bats. You deserve a prize. Your old pal, Commissioner Gordon. Say, he looks all run down. Let's pep him up. No! Batman!
That's either going to be spectacular or disastrous. He's dangling from a rope with his hands secured behind him. How?
Here we go. We're gonna have some fun now, kiddies. You're trying to resist the change. That's not fair. Come on, give in. So, you want to play hardball, Bats, do you? Your call. Pickle, pickle. No. Oh, you're ruining my big night! Months of planning down the crapper! I just wanted to bring down your grim facade and for once let you see the world as I see it, giggling in a corner and bleeding. But you've denied me even that. I have nothing to live for.
He obviously knew that wouldn't kill him, so what did it do? Maybe Batman shouldn't have resisted the change. Whoa. But instead, he injects himself with the antidote, then squares off with Monster Joker.
Hey, where are you going? Excuse me, Bats. In you come, boys. I've softened them up for you.
More goons? What is this? I thought this was the big final battle. What's he doing? You deal with the henchmen and then...
When I get out of this, I'm going to rip your freaking... Give me a dead shot, Bats. Oh, did that hurt? Good. Think you can beat me? Don't make me laugh. I'm out, Bats. My people.
This is getting weird. Why does he keep jumping back up there and sending the other guys at me? Why isn't he just beating the crap out of me himself? He was off to a good start there. While all this is going on, Commissioner Gordon is up there in the upper left corner, strapped into a chair and getting a nice electrical jolt every so often. Unfortunately, you can't do anything about that right now, so he's out of luck. Joker's also dropping weird stuff in with you, and he has these little walking bombs that are really effective. On his own guys. After who knows how many waves of that, you pull him down and beat him up some more, whereupon he jumps back up and sends you more punching bags. You don't have to wait until they're all down to deal with Joker. Anytime he turns his back, you can hit him with the bat claw. The third time, of course, 3 is the sacred gaming number, you do, this happens.
I can take it. I can take anything you throw at me, Bats. You can't beat me. I'm actually going to win. Ready for the next round?
Always.
What?
I'll never let you win. Never.
Why didn't I get to do that? Why did I just sit here and watch? Remember Splinter Cell Chaos Theory? When we finally caught up with Doug, the cutscene ended with the 2 guys pointing their guns at each other. Then it was your turn. Pull the trigger or don't and deal with him when he attacks you. In any case, at the climactic moment you get to do something. That would have been nice here. We see some wrap up and go to the credits. So, yet another Batman. Done to death, right?
And wrong!
To say I was surprised would be an understatement. This was outstanding. I even managed to believe the whole premise, with Joker setting all that up and getting himself captured, because everybody in Gotham is an idiot. Mark Hamill's Joker still haunts my nightmares. When it comes right down to it, as far as characterization goes, Batman is the most boring person in it. But he stays interesting as the vehicle to the story, the puzzles, the collectibles, and all the rest. I enjoyed reading the character bios and finding out about a lot of folks I had never heard of. Harley Quinn is hilarious in a homicidal maniac sort of way. Poison Ivy reminds me of Uma Thurman's version. The way she talks so dramatic and sultry all the time. Hi, I just vomited all over the floor. I need a mop. And by the way, I can make that sound seductive. Don't you agree? I couldn't take it seriously from Uma Thurman, and I can't take it seriously now. But what the hey, her segments are fun and challenging. The 2 parts I didn't care for were Killer Croc's place with those stupid floating walkways, and the area with all the crumbling architecture where I couldn't use my grapple. The former got really dull really quick, and the latter was just too confusing and reached a point where it wasn't enjoyable. Other than that, this one's a keeper. I'll be playing it again. A lot. Next up, of course, is Arkham City, where they solved the problem of containing supercriminals by turning Gotham City into Escape from New York, starring Bruce Wayne as Snake Plissken. Until then, I'm Irving and I have no life. Just like you.
Well, finally, Irving got 3 slugs in the belly. It was right outside the Frontier Deli. He was sitting there twirling his gun around, and Butterfingers Irving gunned himself down. Irving. Big fat Irving. Big dum-dum Irving. Big dum-dum dead Irving. The 142nd fastest gun in the West. Really?
Batman relives the Batmobile driving him and the Joker to Arkham Asylum, except their revolts are, yeah. And now look what happened. Shame on you two. A police commissioner and a barking dog. Told you. Shut up, dog. Quiet, Lulu. Really? That's interesting. He's actually not a bad guy when you get to know him. More coffee?